the message that's been written down, which is a warning to Israel, which basically says, wake up, quit doing what you're doing. If you do this, here's going to be your consequence, and all. And so they get like 4 lines, literally, if you read the Bible, they get like 4 lines into reading for King Jehoiakim, who's in power at this time. And they get like 4 lines into it. And what he does is he takes the scribe's penknife and he begins to cut the verses out of what the Lord instructed Jeremiah to write down, and he begins to throw them in the fire. They were inconvenient. He did not want to hear them, and he just began to do this. Now we say, dude, that right there, that takes some guts. I mean, you're going to take what God says to you, and in front of God and everyone, you're going to cut it up, and you're going to say, this is what I think of this, and you're going to throw it in the fire. And yet we do that all the time. Because what happens is God speaks to us in His Word, and He has some very, very specific stuff to say to us, and some of it we love. I mean, I love the verses that talk about God's grace and God's mercy and God's forgiveness and His loving kindness and the fact that He's long-suffering with me, that He's not going to hold His sins against me. I love John 3:16. God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever should believe in Him would not perish but have everlasting life. Love it, love it, love it, love it. But God also has words to say to us of instruction for those of us that have surrendered our life to the Lord. He basically says, listen, I have some expectations of you. I expect that you are going to die to your flesh. Well, I don't love that one. I want to cut that one out. I want to burn it in the fire. You know, God says, look, I don't want you to be self-absorbed. I want you to be other-centered. I want you to lay your life down for other people. I want you to give for other people. I want you to give sacrificially of your hard-earned money. We're like, I hate that one. Let me cut that one out. I'm going to burn it. Or God says, look, you need to forgive. You need to forgive your enemies. Here's one that we all hate. How about in the book of James in chapter 1, I think it's verse 2, consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds. Hate that one. Let me just cut that out and burn it. There's your joy right there. That's what I think about that, you know. And so we kind of have this attitude, and the thing is that we may not practically take our Bibles and cut the verse out and burn it, but in practicality, we effectively cut those verses out whenever we disobey them.